Previously on Reclamation. Oh my god! And a lock! No.
I'm not sure if we really need a recap because, well,
She listened to the episode. They listened to the episode. The audience
you would have listened to the episode, and we're not recording this for anybody besides our close friends, so...
No, millions of listeners have heard
Yeah, millions
this.
of listeners,
And
absolutely.
We're on the come-up, Critical Role. I'm just saying. Matthew Mercer, you got nice hair, but you do not have locks like Ray, okay?
Oh,
You can't
man.
DM like that, man. All right?
Oh, man.
Know your
All right.
place, swine. Okay, anyways. Recap.
Bold statement.
Just very high level. I woke up a very old, ancient Egyptian goddess, the OG, as they call her. She showed me my family. I had an emotional reaction, and then Set was like, "Hey, bitch," and he pulled up on me, and he sent me to the Shadow Realm. So that is kind of where we are at right now, and we're dealing with the fallout of where I am. Where am I? Ray?
Right now, Isaiah, you are pushed up against a rocky surface by a jackal-headed man who has a hand on your throat and is going to attempt to wrench the Kopesh from your hands. And the first thing I need you to do is to roll me an athletics check to oppose his athletics check to disarm you.
First roll of the session. Here we go. Big money, big money, big money. A natural 11 for a 13.
That's all you have for athletics?
I only have a
I feel like
+2
you have...
to athletics. I'm not
No
proficient.
way.
I'm not proficient.
No
man.
way. I don't believe it.
If you want to give me
Huh,
proficiency right now, we can do it.
I guess. All right.
I will allow you to make that call.
He rolled a 5 on the die. That is not going to be enough to grab the Kopesh from your hand. You are strengthened in a way that you don't understand, or maybe he lacks the strength.
Okay.
Regardless,
can I just make a perception check?
I will say you can make one with disadvantage because you are struggling with a hand on your neck that is attempting to take life from you. Things are very dark around here, but I will say that initially, before your perception check, you see two other figures behind this individual, one farther off, more so towards an entrance of this whatever rocky room you're in, staring off in a direction away from you, and another closer jackal-headed individual that is seemingly backing this person up and is now approaching right now, placing a hand on the temple of itself and aiming another hand in your direction. But roll me a perception check.
Okay, disadvantage. For the audience, listen to those dice. That sounds pretty good, huh? ASMR. Anyways. Disadvantage. Actually, that's pretty middling rolls. That's not too bad. So my lowest roll was a 12, so perception would be a 13.
13? Are you looking for anything in particular?
Traps, anything magical related that is bad, or just a general sense of where I am. Like, could I pick out the location, or is it too vague to know even where I am?
I will say that you are in a very dark, enclosed, rocky area. It does seem to be some type of structure that is rather dilapidated at this point in time. I think you would be able to make out some type of arcane markings alongside the walls, not necessarily Jabaxi hieroglyphics, but they seem to be pulsing ever so slightly with some type of magical essence, almost like glyphs of some kind. They're on about the right wall, maybe about 10-15 feet away from you. Above you, there's about a ceiling that goes 40 feet or so up and above. And the next thing I'm going to ask you to do, Isaiah, is I need you to roll me a d10 and add your Constitution modifier.
D10 with Constitution modifier. Okay. +1 to Constitution, so that's going to be a 7 total.
Isaiah, from the Kopesh in your hand that you are holding on to, you feel a surge of energy go inside of you. I would like you to go into managing your inventory, and I would like you to add Stinger of the Web Wielder to your inventory and attune to it.
The Web Weaver?
The Web Weaver.
Okay, I'm adding it to equipment. I'm equipping it and then going to attunement, and I'm attuning to it. Ooh, baby. Okay. For the audience, let me read the description of Stinger of the Web Weaver. It is a longsword. Damage 1d8. Damage type slashing. Weight 3 pounds. Okay, more important details. The black blade of this sword is crafted from a mysterious primal alloy. You gain a +1 bonus to attack and damage roll made with this magic weapon. While the sword is on your person, you are immune to the effects of the hallowed spell. Primal Blessing. While holding the sword, you can use an action to give yourself 1d6 + 4 temporary hit points. This property can't be used again until the next dusk, or when it is used to slay a creature. Ooh. Binding Strike. When you hit a creature with an attack using this weapon, you can add an extra damage die of force damage to the roll. If a critical hit is rolled, the target must make a DC 16 dexterity saving throw or be covered in a web, causing the target to be stunned till the end of their next turn. Now that's just the general description, Ray. I don't know if you homebrewed any different looks or aesthetics or abilities to it that you may want to comment on, but...
I would say that the Khopesh itself is a large, black alloy with starlight encrusted embolizations, I'd say. It is clearly made by the gods itself. It does grant you access to certain webs that should be listed, and if not, I will name them off to you right now.
Webs?
Or spells. Web being one of them.
It gives me Primal Blessing and Binding Strike. That's what I see right now, but maybe I have to go to my spell list. I see awesome. Guiding Bolt. Oh, wow. It gives me
Guiding Bolt should be one of them, yes.
Yeah, Web, and then Summon Celestial at 5th level.
I should also mention that it does allow you to spider climb, so you can walk up surfaces of the walls now.
That's pretty badass. Okay. Then, in that case, I would like to cast Divine Sense, if I could do that.
You cast Divine Sense. You immediately feel these 3 beings before you. The one gripping you, this jackal-headed man, dressed in a small toga, doesn't have any weapons on him, but his claws are rather very sharp. The one behind him in the far side seems to be of some unknown species, wearing some type of Egyptian headdress, almost like a pharaoh. It covers him entirely, and seems to be attending some other deeds. The other jackal-headed man approaches you with a glaive in hand, and a smaller black Khopesh with a green essence of the duat soaking through it, dripping on the ground, approaches you sneering, saying, "Get it off him already! We can't be here any longer!" The jackal within your reach seems to be struggling to get it off of you, and I would like you to roll initiative, but let it be said also, you gain a level from the Khopesh, and that hit die you rolled earlier, you must add 7 HP to your total HP now.
Oh, shnikes.
As you feel the faint essence of Neath say no to their desire for the Khopesh.
Holy shnikey. Okay, Okay. Okay. I'm leveled up. I'm a big deal. I took the spells, or spell. I only got 1 spell, I believe. And I'm ready to roll initiative. So, initiative roll right here, -1. This is awesome. That is a natural 3 for a 2.
Alright. I have already rolled initiative for the 2 active players right now. They are going to go first. Isaiah, the one behind the one grabbing you and grappling you, is going to cast a spell, and I need you to give me a wisdom saving throw. DC 14.
This is big money. I got pretty good wisdom, so let's
You
do
do.
this.
You do.
That's a natural 10 for an 18.
Wow, alright. So, you feel him trying to climb into your mind and searches for information. He only gets your surface level thoughts with detect thoughts, but I suppose you also cast your divine sense, in which this case you would be actively casting detect thoughts as well. So if you wish to, you may delve, but we are in initiative now, so things are dire. You get a little bit of, since you cancel a spell, you get a little bit of his, and he's searching for anything he can use against you. You feel him searching for family, friends, anything. He's trying to find an edge over you.
Ooh, okay. I will not delve, but that is duly noted.
The other one grappling you is going to attack you.
He may.
And you do not have a very high AC.
You know, it's my personality that counts.
That is true. It is your personality that counts. But you do have an adequate amount of HP, so hopefully this will go well for you. Alright. Well, you know what? That's not too bad. That is a 2 on the die for you. And that is not actually going to be enough points to hit your AC of 9. But he's got one more attack.
Get fucking wrecked.
Alright, a 16 is going to hit.
Alright.
So that's going to be 1d10 of slashing damage. So that is going to be 11 points of slashing damage. And 4 points of necrotic damage done to you.
Okay.
Give it up and you may live. That's all he says to you as he cleaves into you. It is now your turn, Isaiah.
Am I restrained?
You are grappled, not restrained. So your movement is 0.
I
From
can't
what I
take
understand-
an attack. Can I take an
No,
attack?
you should be able to take an attack. Let me look up the conditions real quick. I need to be sure, see if it has anything with disadvantage. Nope, you are just, movement is 0 right now.
Okay.
Until you break the grapple, which you could either athletics check it or attack if you wish to.
Is if I make an attack, is it kind of like a concentration check where he would have to roll to see if he could maintain the grapple during the strike?
Nope, not until they're incapacitated, and I actually need you to roll a Constitution save to see if you can keep detect thoughts up.
Okay. Constitution save?
Yep.
Okay. 5 for a 9, so that fails.
That fails, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Detect thoughts drops, but you already know what he wants, so...
Yeah. In that case, I'm gonna break out of this grapple. Attempt to.
Okay, roll me a opposing athletics or acrobatics check if you wish. I don't know if that's any better for you. No, it's not.
Definitely
I don't know
not.
why I asked.
Definitely not. Can't believe you even asked.
Right. I
So that's
rolled
gonna be
13.
a natural 11 for a 13 total.
Wow. I'm gonna say meets beats in this situation.
Okay, so that breaks. Then in that case, I'm going to filter on my spell list to see what I can cast. What is this? Concentration. Let me see all of these. I'm going to bonus action cast Sanctuary.
Okay. Alright.
As I channel the powers of Neef, I'm going to make a small, basically interwoven web of radiant light around myself to try to thwart these attackers from striking me down.
A line is drawn between you and these warriors of Set that disappears magically to allow sight between you. I believe they have to make wisdom saves in order to attack you. Is that correct?
That is correct. They have to beat a wisdom 15.
All right. Do you wish to use anything else? Your movement, your bonus action, or your action? I can't remember which one this was.
The action was used to beat the grapple. The bonus action was to cast Sanctuary, and I will not be moving.
Okay. You simply stand your ground and draw a line. The jackals, somewhat disheartened by you not being easy prey, look at each other, and they both steel themselves. They're going to take their attacks. Your back is against the wall, so they can't flank you.
Hi, buddy.
So,
Hey,
What are you playing?
we're playing D&D. We're playing D&D, so we're just rolling dice right now. Yeah. You want to say hi to Ray?
Hi, Ray. What's going down, Chinatown?
Oh, not much. We're DMing.
He said not much. We're just hanging out.
How you doing, guy?
Pretty good. I'm sore after the half. Very sore.
He just ran a half marathon this weekend, so he's sore.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Half marathon. Good for you. How much training are you investing in that?
I put in 7 weeks, which is not enough.
He said he put in 7 weeks of training, which was not enough.
7 weeks?
My cardio was
Wow.
great, but my legs
Does he
gave
have
out.
a six-pack?
He basically has a six-pack. He has a pretty insane torso, if I do say so
There's
myself.
nothing wrong with it. You know, you can absolutely appreciate a man with a good torso. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, nothing yet.
Absolutely
I mean,
not. Nope.
But yeah.
I did make your bed and hang up your clothes.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom.
Tell Ray he looks nice.
Mom says you look nice.
I heard.
All right.
I appreciate it.
All right. Back to our fucking manly shit.
Yeah. Fuck, man.
Yeah, back to the role play. Oh, Mom, you're killing the vibe. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, man.
Okay, cool. Then in that case, yeah, they have to make their attacks.
Yep, they're going to make their attacks. I rolled a 5 and 7 on the die. I believe, with your very limited AC, both of these are going to hit.
No.
that is-
They have to make wisdom saves.
Oh, that's correct. So these are wisdom saves, which, let me see what their wisdom save is. I don't think they have... Oh, they have a +5. What is your DC?
15 to beat.
15? I'm going to say that neither of them beat it.
So they both make attacks against me, and as soon as their blades touch the web just folds around the blades and just stops all momentum that would have been had as it just bounces off and gets thrown back. And now
They're going to take their second attempt at an attack. So
Ooh, yeah.
I'm going to roll 2 more wisdom saves, which also fail. So yeah, no, they you're good. You're good. They cannot find it within themselves to attack.
Now I look at this blade in my hand and I'm like, I just got this from the OG herself. This is like a one of one. This is a badass moment, and I gotta show the hell out. So with the blade of Neef, and my oath to both Horus and Osiris, I'm going to actually channel the powers of Osiris and call upon his disciples as I cast, I bonus action cast Spirit Shroud. And I will summon forth radiant spirits that will basically help me pull up and do some extra damage. So with that, I'm going to take a two-handed strike immediately on the jackal in front of me.
Perfect. So you are now concentrating on Spirit Shroud.
Yes. Yep.
So, and you're using a D10 for this because you're using both
Two-handed.
hands.
Yep. And it's another D8 if I land it because of Spirit Shroud. So let me
This
grab
is the only thing I have to ask you. Are you going to smite?
Ooh. No, because smite is a bonus action, I think.
Nope, you can smite with any attack you wish.
Oh man. You know what? Just for, the first combat of this one-on-one shot, I guess we'll just do it. Yeah. I will smite with this blade. And
The Kopesh hums with power. It's eager to take blood again first time, and it doesn't know.
so I expend one spell slot to deal 2d8 extra radiant damage. So let me go to my spells and see what... Okay, I'll expend a spell slot, and then go to actions. And so Divine Smite will gain me 2d8 upon a hit. So first attack, two-handed, is going to be, it's actually relatively low. That's going to be a 14 to hit.
14. That meets its armor's class.
Okay. Then I will roll the second attack before... Well, actually, let's just see if I kill it in the first attack. So D10, D8, and then 2D8 for the smite.
It's a lot of D8.
Let's see here, another D8. I am actually limited on my D8 stock. Let me grab another one. Okay. Ooh, these are some pretty good numbers. I'm not mad at these. Okay, so that's going to be 12 plus 10, 22 plus 3. It's going to be 25 points of radiant damage.
All right.
And I'm gonna make an upward swinging motion as I kind of like use the... I'm used to only a one-handed axe, so I'm not really adept with the two-hand type of longsword Kopesh situation. So I'm gonna actually kind of treat it a little bit like a golf club and just swing and cut straight up into the first jackal in front of me.
The unarmed jackal that was initially grabbing you, you pushed off, receives the goal that he was seeking. He was aiming for the Kopesh, but he gets it in a way that he was not planning. You cleave into him, and for a split second, the primal energy from this creator god's Kopesh explodes in the initial color of an orange that immediately turns more appropriate towards the Duat and explodes upon him. He is incredibly shocked by this level of damage that you have done. He is not down, but he does seem to be injured now. You have gained some type of respect and anger from this enemy. You may make your other attack, if you wish.
So where's the second one relative to him?
The second one is about 5 feet to his back left. So you're back right. And you still see the one with the headdress further away, about 40 feet or so.
Okay. And is there any way that I could get a 2-for-1 with a single swing or no?
Not unless you killed the first one. We will have cleave rules for any remaining damage.
Okay. Then in that case, I will take my second strike on him. No divine smite, just a normal attack. And that'll be a 4 for an 11, so that'll fail. And yeah, that'll end my
wary. All right, he became wary after that first strike. It was incredibly noisy comparative to the actual atmosphere. It's very quiet here, and as you lay that smite upon him, it does shake the foundations ever so slightly, causing dust and dirt, sand, to fall from the ceiling above. And it does gain a little bit of the attention of the one with the headdress down the way. He looks in your direction, but goes back to what he's doing immediately. The other two are going to play it a little more safe. The one who's unarmed is going to take his attacks, but the one with the glaive is going to, after he does so, back up a bit. You no longer have the bonus of Sanctuary, but
No, I do
this
not.
one is going to roll a 16.
But I have a 9 AC, and that counts for something.
It does. The other one's going to be an 8 on the die. So with his punches, claws included. Oh, missed that. That is going to be 8 piercing damage with 1 necrotic damage and 4 piercing damage with 4 necrotic damage on that. The other one is going to roll...
So 13 damage total, just to clarify?
13 damage total, yes.
Okay.
The other one is going to be casting a spell. He's going to generate a bolt of power, and he's going to send a divine guiding bolt in your direction. He does have to roll to hit. Oh my god. He does roll a nat 20.
Alrighty then.
And guiding bolt is a lot of
And that's a lot of damage.
divine radiant damage, to say, not divine damage. Although it is divine in its sense, it's corrupted when it comes to his guys. That's going to be 4d6, which means it's 8d6.
Sheesh.
That is a lot of damage. Alright. I'm going to roll it. Yep, no, I'm going to roll it live. I got some d6s. I just don't have that many d6s on the table right now. This one seemed a little more wary of you now that he's seen what you can do and the damage you can dish out, so you can relax in solidarity that you have earned their fear at this point in time. But they're not taking any chances with you anymore. No, no, no. You're a fucking animal, Isaiah.
He just got 8d6. I'm not an animal anymore.
Well, that's going to be 29 points of radiant damage.
29 points.
How are you feeling?
I'm at like almost a third of my health.
Okay. That does cause some more damage as this divine corrupted bolt smashes into your chest. It does leave a tracing mark to allow the next attack upon you to be made with advantage, but it is your turn regardless. It does, however, generate more noise, and it does hit your opponents currently. They seem to be worried about making noise due to some reason you do not know.
Interesting. Okay. So it is my turn?
It is your turn.
Okay. Then in that case, I'm going to look at my spells here. Oh, I have to roll to see if I maintain concentration on Spirit Shroud.
Oh, I suppose you do.
Yeah, so let me see if I
You have to roll... What's half of 36?
18.
18? Okay. DC
I have to make
18.
an 18 Constitution saving throw?
Yes, you do.
Wow. Okay, here we go.
You can do it. I believe in you.
A natural 5 for a 9.
Okay.
Horace pulled out. He's like, yeah, buddy, congrats. You went to the wrong slumber party, and now I'm mad
Bad
at
signal where he's at.
Okay.
Bad signal.
Okay, so as that comes down, and I'll just take an attack against homeboy in front of me with the Kopesh, two-handed again.
Okay.
That's going to be a 2 for a 9. Really bad. And I'm going to take another attack. Oh, okay. 14 for a 21, so that hits.
21 definitely hits.
So, D10.
Your Divine Smites also go up in damage if you use a higher spell slot as well.
Yes, yep. But I'm going to just go for this one with just this. Wow, 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 wow. So that's going to be 4 damage total.
I'm sorry. Really?
I rolled a nat 1 on a D10.
Okay, plus your strength modifier.
Yeah, which is a +3. Or
Okay.
it's
Okay.
a +2 actually,
+2.
but with the blade, it's a +1 to attack and damage rolls, so it's a +3. So, it's
And
a
the
4
bonus force damage as well.
total. When you hit a tree, you can add. Oh, you can add. Okay, an extra damage die of force damage to the roll. So is Binding Strike once?
The Binding Strike's only on a nat 20, but you can roll another D10 of damage that will be force damage instead for all of your strikes. If you choose to do so.
How would I do that? Like,
Just by rolling it. It's not expended in any way. It's just due to the artifact that you have.
Okay.
And attunement.
Okay. Okay. So, in that case, that'll be 7 force damage on top of the 4 for 11 total damage.
11 total damage on this unarmed. Okay.
And that will... Let me see if I have anything for bonus actions. So, previously on, when I lay on hands Neath, and I got the power of another god to help channel the lay on hands for seemingly endless amounts of healing points, was I left with 0 lay on hands points?
I will say that it was refreshed on the way, considering you were a conduit at the time, and some initial reserves from E-Set was placed inside of you, so consider it full.
Okay, then... Oh, that's an action. Okay, so that'll be next turn. Alright, duly noted. Then that'll end my turn.
Alright. You have, at this point in time, bloodied the unarmed one. He has taken enough damage from you to understand that you are more dangerous than he initially assumed. He is going to try to disarm you again.
Okay. What type of roll is that? Contested athletics?
Contested athletics.
Oh, that's going to be a toughie for him. That's a natural 17 for a 19.
Yeah, he's not...
He's not what? Ray, are you there? Raymond? Raymond?
Patrick.
Whose turn is it right now? It's your guys' turn.
Right now, he's giving his second try on taking the Kopesh from you. He rolled a 15.
Oh, second try soul reroll. Okay.
You make your athletics with advantage since you are two-handing the Kopesh.
Contested athletics, okay. So... The biggest roll was a 15 total.
15 total?
Yep.
I believe since he's... Oh, jeez. Contested rolls. What do you do in ties for athletics?
If he initiated, then it would be his meets beats, correct?
But technically you rolled second, so I'm not sure. Let me see. Did you roll higher? High on a grapple check. Let me see here. It remains the same as it was before the contest.
So I win.
So you win. He is trying as he might get a hand off of you, but you're able to right yourself and keep it together. The other one behind him with the glaive is looking nervous. Get it from him, we need to leave!
Whose turn is it then?
It is going to be the one with the glaive, and he is going to run up to you again and take 2 more attacks.
You will try.
Not resorting with spell casting this time. That is a natural 12 on the die for his first attack. And that's going to be a natural 8 on the die. That is going to be 15 points of slashing damage and 4 points of necrotic. That's going to be 4 points of slashing damage and 2 necrotic. How are you looking?
3 HP.
Try as he might to cleave your essence away, you are hanging on to this thing with dear life, but Isaiah, it is very clear that this is getting very, very dire.
Yeah.
Their leader behind at this point has stopped focusing on what he's doing, and he is beginning to approach. And he's saying, "Get it, we must leave. Now!" It is your turn, Isaiah.
Okay. Then... yeah, I'm going to heal myself with the lay on hands for 50 HP. I'm going to just dump it into me. I take... as I channel Neef's energy from within the blade and start imbuing it into myself. And you'll see the little embellishments of lights on the blade flicker a little bit, and then they'll go back to normal. As now I'm looking a little bit healthier than what I was last turn. And then I will probably bonus action, because I can do that. I'm going to bonus action Thunderous Smite and then end my turn.
All right. Did you? Yes, you already took your action. You use your lay on hands, and you're still not using any movement.
Not using any movement.
All right. I'm gonna roll initiative for the leader at this point. Terrible. You are going to go before he does, but his 2 cronies are going to go. They see you in your spiritual form, almost on death's door at this point in time. Isaiah, you haven't had time to take in your new form, just due to the action that's been happening, but you look down and you don't recognize yourself. You are wearing similar pants to the ones that you are, and you are mostly unarmed besides the Kopesh. You don't appear to have the glaive that you had acquired before and surfed upon in the last session. But you don't need it. You have the Kopesh, and that's what matters. You don't recognize your hands, you don't recognize your skin, but as you lay on hands yourself and bring yourself up to nearly full HP again, you see the dismay on the unarmed jackal's face as he seemed to have been very eager to disarm your corpse in the near future. Unfortunately for him, he is going to take his attacks upon you again, giving it his best shot. That is, believe it or not, going to be a natural 2 on one of his attacks and a natural 8 on the other one. So he rolls 5 points of piercing damage from his claws and 1 point of necrotic upon you normally. This guy is simply what seems to be a bare bones warrior of Set himself. He does barely anything to you with his first strike. You shrug it off, no problem. And his second one does barely any damage. However, the one with the glaive is less of a pushover. He's going to take his 2 attacks. Jeez. Neither of them are actually going to hit.
Oh, gosh.
That's a 2 and a 1, believe it or
Jeez.
not. The tides have truly turned in this situation.
The 9 AC fending off.
That's really fucking embarrassing for them, if we're being honest. You are going to act before the leader with the Egyptian or Jabaxi headdress at this point.
The one that has that was not the one with the weapon, the glaive. I'm gonna be attacking him now.
Okay, he's within your reach, so feel free.
All right, I will be taking a 2-handed attack against him. That is a natural 20.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, roll. Are you going to smite? I
might as well. I
can't not suggest it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a 2nd level smite, and 2nd level smite is 2d8 for that. So that's gonna be 2d10s.
I will say that you don't need to roll 2d10. Simply add 10 damage for your weapon die for an instant max damage, and just roll an extra d10 for bonus for the crit.
So how would that math add up? Because I have a +3 already.
So it's going to be technically 3 more d10s.
So,
maybe even 4, because you're going to have the force damage, I assume, as well.
Yep, I'll have force damage, and in addition to the force damage...
you could one-shot him. You can one-shot him. It's possible.
It's also 4d8, because it's 2d8 radiant damage.
At a 2nd level smite?
Yeah, 2nd level smite with... Yeah, the crit. So I gotta find even more d8 than what I have.
Oh, yes. Very nice.
Grab another one. And that also does not account for, you guessed it, Ray, what I did last turn, 4d6 thunder damage for Thunderous Smite.
That's true. I forgot about that.
So let me get 4d6.
The one-shot is truly possible.
Okay, so doing the math here, 7 plus 3, 10, 17, 20, 6, 31, 38, 39. That'll be 42 points of damage across Radiant and Slashing and Thunder, and he has to make a... it's Binding Strike. So if a critical hit is rolled, target must make a DC 16 Dexterity save or be covered in web.
I forgot about that.
So he'll have to be covered in web, and he has to make a Strength saving throw because Thunderous Smite has a chance to either knock him back or knock him prone.
Okay. Oh. He rolled... I'm going to say the Thunderous Smite is going to come into effect first. He rolled a 19 on a strength saving throw, but he rolled a nat 1 on the dexterity save, so he is webbed immediately and is stunned. It is not enough damage to kill him, but he is incredibly hurt as he goes from untouched and kind of almost being passive aggressive at how his friend was unable to disarm you, to immediately understanding what he is dealing with as he is put into a dying state and webbed to the ground. I'm going to say he falls prone, actually, at this point in time.
I was about to say, you should roll for fatal damage, because that is a mortal wound in one attack.
It was over half his HP. I will roll a Constitution save to see if he survives or not. He does roll another natural 19, so I'm going to say no grievous wound comes upon him. He's taken enough damage as it is, and he is stunned currently. Is that going to be the end of your turn, or do you have more?
I have a second hit.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It will be, if you make another attack upon this man, it will be made with advantage.
Yeah, so I will.
Feel free. Feel free.
So that'll be an 18 total to hit.
Okay.
And that'll be a D10 plus 3. So.
And another D10 of force damage if you wish.
So that's going to be already max damage. That's going to be 13 damage.
13 damage.
Slashing damage. But if that doesn't kill him, then I can use the extra D10.
It will not be enough.
Okay, then I will use the extra D10. That'll be a 19 damage total.
That will be enough. Yeah, that will be enough. You bisect this man with your gigantic longsword Kopesh while he's covered in web.
And if you look closely enough, you can see how he looks like a sushi roll from the side.
Yeah, he does.
He
certainly does.
With my bonus action, I will.
Did you roll your Thunderous Smite? It doesn't matter. I was going to say, you should also have Thunderous Smite damage, but...
I did roll Thunderous Smite. I rolled the 4d6.
You did? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Also, I don't know how that affects the foundation around us, because it says the weapon rings with thunder that is audible within 300 feet.
As you do that, from the roof, part of the debris up above does come down and adds to the element of decrepitude, if that's a word, to this area. The sound does ring through, and you see this leader beginning to generate a spell, but it does not apply. His turn is not quite here yet. Okay. So until your turn is done, he will not be able to act.
Okay, then, yeah, then I will, with that dude dead, I will end my turn. I don't think I'll use a bonus action.
Okay, no movement?
No movement.
The leader, at this point in time, boy, he really doesn't have a lot of options. Give me a DC 16 Wisdom save.
That is a natural 16 for a 24 total.
You feel your muscles tense up as sand around you immediately clumps your body, and he casts Hold Person, but it does not fully stick, and you shrug it off. Almost a layer of web pushes the sand off and just practically molts from you. He curses it, and as he does do that, you notice he drops concentration, and then from the hallway behind him that he was aiming down, you hear screams of pain and fear. You feel more shaking coming around as he says, "Retrieve the Kopesh now, or I leave you." He says to his lackey. This is his last chance, essentially, is what you get. The lackey is going to make his grappling check, natural 2. Oh my god. Okay. You make it with advantage.
My highest roll total was a natural 14 for a 16 total.
Okay. I need you to roll me a second one, and you need to beat a 22.
That was my highest of 2 rolls.
Okay. You beat his first grappling check, or his athletics check to disarm you, but he did make a second one, and it was a nat 20.
Okay, then I will have to make another one, and I'm scared. That is a natural 1 for a 3.
You do make it with advantage.
A natural 9 for an 11.
Okay. He does retch it from your hands. The fear of everything generating enough strength. He gets it from your hands. But I will say this, Isaiah. You have done so much damage to this man. He is going to try to run from you. You do get an opportunity attack. At this point, you are unarmed, so you will have to use your fists, and I don't believe you can generate smite unless you have a weapon.
You are correct, so I will take an opportunity attack with my fisticuffs.
Okay.
So let me see this.
I believe you can do... you can do 3 damage.
So that opportunity attack is going to be a 10 total for a miss.
Damn. You do miss. He's going to run all the way to his leader, but it's heavier than he expected, so he's almost dragging it a bit, and he can't hand it to his leader, who is armed with a rod as well. So it's going to be your turn first, before the leader can act.
Interesting. Okay, then what I think I'm going to do is, at 3rd level, I think I'm going to cast... Oh, what's more? No, Sunny is not down here, I don't believe.
You are still attuned to the weapon, so you still get the benefits, you just can't use it, obviously.
Okay, so Sunny's not with the boys downstairs.
Yeah, at 3rd level, I'm going to cast Sleep.
Oh, okay.
As I channel Osiris once again, and instead of enveloping... instead of summoning death itself, I'm summoning its cousin. As I open an empty kind of void, as a big kind of just orb of black delirium, basically, will start to pull both the lackey and the leader into a state of slumber. And so...
Roll your sleep dice, my guy.
I will roll my sleep dice, and we will see what happens. Five D8, lots of D8. Where's my blue D8? I don't see you. Where are you? So 2. So that's 15 health points worth of sleep.
The lackey drops, falling upon the Kopesh flat on the ground. The leader is laying a hand out for it, and instead of getting a weapon, he gets nothing.
Let's see. Sorry. At higher levels, spell slot above the first. Oh wait, it was an extra 2d8 because I was casting it at 2nd level. Or did I say 3rd level?
You said 3rd level.
I said 3rd level, so I would be getting an additional 4d8 on top of that, just in case if that were to do anything to the leader. So
I'll tell you that it won't. He has far more HP than that.
Yeah. That was only an extra 13, 15, 16 points of HP. But alas, lots of sleep on him. And I will step in between me and the leader, or I will use all of my movement to try to step in between the leader and the sleepy lackey.
You are able to essentially stand upon his body, putting a bulwark of his body between him, the Kopesh, with addition of yourself at this point in time. The screams and fighting behind the leader down the ruinous cavern seems to be almost upon you, as you begin to see what seems to be arcane magics, blue lights flashing. You can't make any emotions out on this individual who is masked, but you can tell that they don't want to be here at this point in time.
Okay. Can I voluntarily treat an enemy as an ally in theory? Like, could I give this sleeping lackey the benefits of my aura?
If you choose to do so, yeah, you can.
Okay. Then I will do so for the sake of this next turn, but yeah, it'll be the end of my turn, and it'll be Homeboy's turn.
Alright, I'm going to tell you what. This guy is, I'm going to say he's going to use his movement, half of his movement, since he doesn't have to move too far. He's going to use half of his movement to try to pick up the Kopesh. He is not physically strong. So, it's going to be a fairly high DC athletics check to get the Kopesh out from underneath him and you at the same time. He rolled a natural 10. He's going to pull on the handle, give it a yank. It's not going to even... He's not even going to be able to have it in his hand. He is going to look at you, and he says, "I'll remember you." And he's going to Dimension Door out.
I'm going to use my reaction to
Are you going to counterspell? Okay.
I lied. I cannot, because I casted sleep at 3rd level, so I'm not I don't have counterspell available.
You don't... Okay. You don't have any more spell slots.
Yeah, I only have my 2nd level, and 2nd level you can't cast counterspell. Ooh, that's
You reach out. Bitch. Your reflexes are still true. You reach out to cast counterspell. He makes note of that as he Dimension Doors, raising a curtain of sand, and he steps through it, flicking you off on the way out.
Oh, damn.
However, he is not able to take his lackey with him, nor does he want to. The screams, loud, ravenous, seem to be dying down a bit, but in initiative we still lay, Isaiah. What is your What do you wish to do on your turn, as your new friend is now sleeping soundly, bleeding on the floor? Does Thunderous Smite dissipate if you come disarmed? Do we know?
Oh, Thunderous Smite just does damage. I mean, that's all it does. And the damage effect, it's just I think a temporary ringing. So after the attack, the noise just rang and then it was done. So in that sense, I don't think there's any lasting effects beyond the damage I dealt to the now dead dude. What I will try to do is I'll ask you a question. If a character is in sleep, do they have disadvantage on checks?
In what way? Because if you wish to make an attack on them, you would treat them essentially as if they're paralyzed. Because he cannot move, you would make attacks upon them with advantage, and if you do hit, it will be a crit.
I was thinking more along the lines if I were to cast a spell. That requires a charisma or wisdom save check.
I would say... Ooh, boy, that's a good question, actually. Because the mental stats are a little bit different. I'm going to say he's unconscious. I would say no. His charisma and wisdom is technically intact as we speak. I believe there are certain classes that do get advantage on certain things like that, like the Arcane Trickster. They can magically ambush people that are unaware. So
Okay.
your magic will affect them the same, although he is considered your ally currently, unless you wish to stop doing so.
I will. I will stop considering him my ally at this point, and what I will do is at second level, I'm gonna cast Calm Emotions around me, as I try to wake up this lackey.
All it needs to do is you to take an action to wake him up.
I'll take the action to wake him up.
All right.
He has to make a charisma saving throw.
Charisma saving throw.
Yep.
Okay. Does he have proficiency? He does. He's got a +4. That's a 3 on the die, so he fails.
Okay. Can you describe what this lackey looks like?
He is a jackal-headed man, bare torso, rather leanly muscular, wearing a toga around his waist with a blue gem embezzled on the front. He does have armored bracers, one armband of gold upon his left bicep, and 2 golden anklets that are bound and seemingly magical upon him. He does have tan skin and bare feet. Unarmed himself, he does seem to use his claws as his form of weapon. His eyes are burning red with the hate of Set as you awaken him, but he is calm. And as he calms, the burning dissipates, showing off a red eye underneath, and his forked jackal ears seem to relent. He seems to be fighting with himself to be calm, but he realizes that he's been left alone at this point in time.
I will ask him, I will say, follower of Set, where are we?
I want you to make a persuasion check. I'll say advantage because he's calm.
Highest roll was a 17 for a 24.
Yeah. He seems to come to peace with what's happening right now due to your assistance.
I have a very calming demeanor.
Of where we are and how we got here, I do not know. I traveled with my leader of my small band. I do know this to be an old temple of a civilization long lost to Jabaxi. We are in an unknown temple on the western side, the far west, north of Set's territory, but on the edge of contested. We came here seeking an idol of Neath to pull upon you and to keep you from making a mistake. The assailants here are powerful, and we knew death was upon us if we came here.
Yes, well, it seems that your little mission did not go to plan, but even then, not only did it not go to plan, that failure on executing on that plan made your leader forego your life, and yet you are here. How do you interpret that?
I know I can't kill you. There'd be no point in me trying. He smiles. I do have some peace in the sense that knowing that you will die with me. I wish to wrestle the Kopesh from you, maybe. To hopefully disarm you and take its power for myself so that I may gain Set's favor. Maybe even take Set down myself, given how afraid he is of this.
Well,
He turns and looks in the direction of the cavern and takes a stance of battle.
and what I would, I'd say, if you so dearly wish to relish in us sharing a death together, for that means a victory for Set ultimately long term, then I would counter propose that we both die together, but together in which you help me in the mission to stop Set and aid the gods. For if your mission for your gods, for your god in particular, were to be a noble one, then I would think that your leader would have a bit more honor in the way that he treated you before leaving.
He barks back at you and says, "You killed the only person I cared for amongst my people. You think I have love for Set and the gods? They have done nothing but ruin my life and the lives of many, branding us traitors when we were influenced and drove into his submission. You Medjai, you don't even know what it's like to be forced under the Set's rule. You do just as much as he does to make sure that we have no choice, no say in the matter. You, Isaiah, notice the screaming has died. No more screaming comes from the cavern.
Okay.
And you hear scraping alongside the walls,
And as I would
distantly.
as I would prepare to depart, I would look down at the lackey who just woke up from this slumber to a once enemy to now stranger seeking conversation. I would say, if your belief is that the gods are immutable and are their own foils, as their nature is predetermined and unchanging and predictable in that sense, and that you say that the gods don't understand Set's influence and you don't necessarily have a choice, I would ask you to reconsider the circumstances that you find yourself in right now, in which I am offering you now the choice. One outside of Set and the gods in general, to just be a free man and not a pawn for a larger mission that you have no stake in. And I would extend my hand out to him as I put the Kopesh behind my back, if in the event that he were to try to pull some sneaky shit and do a reach around.
That's fair. I will say, roll me a persuasion check. It's going to be a high DC, but you are fully capable of such a thing. You feel the Kopesh hum with energy as you do so.
And in this moment, what I would do is instead of channeling the power of Horus, I would actually, instead of channeling the powers of Osiris, I would channel the powers of Horus to sound like a resolute leader, one that is not only trustworthy, but confident in the way that you could almost hold on to every single word as the purest essence of truth. And I'm going to channel Divinity, Emissary of Peace. That is going to be, for a actually kind of middling roll, a 21 total.
The DC was 20. So, you see, as this warrior of Set looks towards you again, and upon his forked ears, a crack forms at the split. And almost dissipating into sand, he stops his battle stance and looks at you, and his whole jackal-like head turns into sand and falls from his body, revealing an elven man. Half-elven, only slightly bearded, with tears in his eyes. The fire of Set dissipates from his eyes and shoots through you onto your Khopesh, leaving a symbol. The symbol that you associate with Set, burning towards the bottom of it. And you notice this, that there's also the symbol of Iset with her wings, also burnt into the Khopesh. You have gained another symbol, unknowingly. This man looks at you and he says, "You would parlay with a traitor like me, even after I tried to kill you, wrestle from you your only possession. You are truly greater than any of the gods here. All I wish to know is your name before I die."
I would look down the hallway listlessly, as I know that this shit show is about to continue in some capacity, and that I'm not even confident that I'm ready, but I'm confident that I know that this is my path. And I would look then down to him and I would say, depending on who you're talking to, my name is varied. To some people, I am a traitor. To some people, I am also a coward. To some beings, I am a fool. I am a pawn. To some, I am a servant and an ally. But for our purposes, you can just call me Isaiah. And I will slowly begin the walk down towards the cavern.
Before you make that walk, you see something standing in the doorway. You don't know when it got there. It almost appeared from nowhere. A looming, lean figure, slightly cloaked, tattered beyond almost any use, you see a horned hoplite individual wearing what looks to be a rather decrepit breastplate, a red hand with very heavy claws, and Jabaxi bracers, mismatched, holding a sword in one hand, lays out a hand and casts Cone of Cold in your direction. I need a Constitution saving throw from you. DC 13.
Constitution +4. A natural 20 for 24.
All right. You take... Let's see here. That's going to be... Oh boy. 18 points of cold damage as your new friend behind you is frozen solid, taking the full 36.
He failed his Constitution saving throw?
It wouldn't matter.
Fuck.
Frozen completely solid, and not having the winged Redeemer rod yourself, you did find some redemption in this man before his final day. Before you, this hoplite with a long helmet, with 3 mohawks going down, burnt away, and these black claws and red skin, veins pop from his forearm as cold magic shoots through. You see frighteningly wide eyes and sharp teeth that are only somewhat masked by his blackish, grayish hair. You hear frozen meat as he begins to walk towards his new food, almost ignoring you. He does loom in height over you, and you see wounds upon his arms and legs begin to slowly close shut and burn as he heals from some unknown source.
Oh, man. So... I would look back to the frozen elf longingly, in the sense of it's a damn shame that we just got fucking frozen into a cube, an ice cube. He just all he wanted to do was I looked longingly at the situation, but I'm grateful that and hopeful that his atonement would be much better than if he were to not change his mind. And with that hope, I would look over to this fucking mutt and cast Guiding Bolt with my Stinger of the Webweaver.
Okay. He, at this point, he's already surpassed you, and he's walking towards the frozen ice cube. So, roll me an attack for Guiding Bolt.
Okay. That's going to be a natural 15 for a 22.
22 hits. Roll those radiant dice.
Next attack roll. The end of your turn has the next attack roll made against this target before the end. Okay. 4d6. I was just reading what Guiding Bolt all does.
It'll give you advantage on your next attack on him. And it does a lot of radiant damage.
Guiding Bolt has the powers of True Strike? What?
It does. Built in. Yeah.
That's crazy. So that's going to be 12 damage radiant.
Okay.
And
it's not bad.
Um, let's see. And then I'm going to. I can't cast a spell. That's a feature of the weapon. Oh wait, that was an action. Okay, never mind. The thing that I was looking at is an action. Never mind. Okay, that would end my turn.
All right. You cast Guiding Bolt on this large figure looming in the room. As you do so, he almost seems to shrug it off for a split second. How much damage did it do?
12.
12 damage. You see the point where it hit him in the back. It is tattered his already tattered cloak even more, hitting him on the back of the shoulder, essentially, leaving a decent-sized dent. That dent almost completely closes as he turns back to look at you. His spirit has some spunk. You wish to cross blades with me? Corpse.
For the first time, I think Isaiah has ever done in years, I can pretty confidently say he's kind of like a little bit of a whatever, like a kind of it's kind of flippant, his demeanor. And I would say this out loud, but mostly just talking to myself. But he'd probably hear it, just considering the environment. And I would say, I doubt that I can get you to change your mind. And I would just start charging towards him with the blade of the Singer of the Webweaver and begin this combat.
Well, it's still going to be his turn, so...
Yeah, good for him. Fuck, bitch.
At this point, yeah, he's going to give you the good old cleave with his longsword. Let's see here. What's his 2-hit? Okay. Oh my god. He's going to make 2 attacks. One of them is a nat 20. Unfortunately.
Damn.
So that is... Oh, jeez. 4d8 for that one attack. I'm not going to give him that bonus of insta crits. So that's going to be 21 points of slashing damage onto you with this one attack, and 4 points of necrotic damage. How you feeling?
I got 4 HP.
All right. Here comes his other attack. Oh, yeah, no, it's not going to really matter at this point. He's even with his strength modifier, he does 5 damage. Leaves you once from shoulder to hip. Leaving you at 4 HP. And then he says to you, I don't eat rotten flesh. And he cleaves you one more time, dropping you. He's going to go to the corpse that's frozen. And he's going to grab it and start dragging it away.
I will begin my death saves.
Please do so, my friend. Now, I don't know if your Aura Paladin accounts for death saves, or your paladin aura.
No, because death saves don't have a modifier to them. They're just rolls. Like you
They
can't
are
modify
still
it.
saving throws.
They are, but there's, I guess, +3 on saves. A saving throw also causes. Blah, 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 blah. I guess, yeah. Okay.
Does it have anything to do with you being conscious?
Oh, that's a good point.
Looking it up right now, just to be sure.
Starting at 6 level, makes make us like you're good. You must be conscious to grant this bonus.
Okay, alright, yep. So you roll it flat.
A 14.
That is a pass.
Roll 2. A 5.
A 5.
Yep.
That is a failure.
Roll 3. A 17.
Pass. 2 saves. Passed.
Yeah, that would bring me back.
Don't you need 3 to pass?
Well, first of all, if it were to be 3, that you just said this. Oh no, I see what you meant when you said 2 saving throws.
Yep. You need to make 3 wins.
No, so going back to, well, actually no, because I'm not in my. Am I a living person now? Because
In a sense, right now, yes.
because what we had talked about was with the hallowed feat. If I were to ever go down, if I roll a 16 or higher on a death saving throw, that is a critical success, and I
Is
get
it?
brought
Okay.
back to 1 HP because I'm already undead.
Then you are up.
I am
But you're at
stable.
1 HP. You are stable. So it doesn't count as a critical success?
No, yeah, it is a critical success. I'm back. I'm back.
Then you would rise up immediately at 1 HP. As a critical success on death saves would be a nat 20, rising you up. A success on all 3 would just leave you unconscious for a time.
Yeah.
So, Isaiah, you come to, after a few seconds or so, this individual, you can hear it dragging the corpse down. But you are alone for the time being.
I hear what again?
You hear the corpse being drug away.
I would look at. Can I peer down into the cavern room to see where this beast went?
Roll me a perception check.
Perception check is +1. A natural 7 for an 8.
He left quite a mess on his way here. As you go down this passageway, you find a number of undead all over the place. They are littered, left and right, cleaved by what seems to be a longsword. You discern that the warriors of Set were using these undead possibly as a distraction. And as he said, he doesn't eat corpses of undead flesh. Seeking food that seemed to be more fresh was more up his preference.
But there isn't anything of note necessarily beyond the bodies. Could I identify the entity beyond its figure and shape? Like if it's anything of anyone of consequence?
Roll me a history check.
History check is a +0. Big rolls. A natural 19.
Natural 19. Just by looking at him, and you spent enough time with individuals, you do make some type of connection between ranks. This individual was dressed, and the footwork, when he cleaved you, like the Shifo Coalition from Salia. And you do recall Bayless, the Annex himself spoke to you in an older syntax of Jabaxi.
Oh, shit.
And you're crossing some connections here that you didn't quite understand before.
I'm having like a fucking That's So Raven moment or something.
This is a That's So Raven moment.
Holy shit.
Matter of fact, you took a little bit of a battle between Bayless himself and this individual. The footwork was a little too similar. Very similar.
I should have had advantage. Come on, bro. I have already fought in this foe before. I know this dude.
Some time has passed.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right.
You know it's not Bayless, but this individual is part of the coalition. You can 100% count on that. Or was.
Okay.
Because they seem to be dressed with actual Jabaxi gear themselves, almost like they're mismatched gear, and it's not well kept at this point in time.
Okay. Okay. In that case, then... Okay, well, with that, I will probably start checking to see how I can get out. Can I make an Arcana check?
An Arcana check won't necessarily give you much unless you're going to be very specific with it.
I'll be very specific after I make this roll. How about that?
Okay, what are you trying to perceive through Arcana in your study of magic?
All right. Okay, so it's a 17 for a 21, so keep that in mind. Okay, rolled
Okay,
really well
yep.
for this.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can somehow, some way break through this. Like, I want to do what Set did to me, but to myself, where I rip myself through some type of dream tear and pull myself to a completely different location entirely, possibly with Neith's blade, because I know I can't do this shit. So I would try to channel the powers of this magical blade to see if I can yeet myself out of this temple dungeon bullshit that, that I'm in, that I'm stuck in, seemingly.
I will say this. You use the Kopesh and you try to figure something out with it. A way to spirit yourself away to another location again.
You could even say spirited away to an extent.
Yes. Isaiah, try as you might, even with that roll, you feel the faint presence of Neith within the Kopesh. You know that you brought her back with the help of Iset herself, but it was temporary, you have figured. As she faded, was the moment in time when Set was able to get a hold of you and grant a follower a temporary surge of power the same way that Iset granted you a temporary surge of power to pull you through. However, the only god who is close enough to you at this moment in time is Set himself. And you feel that if you were to open yourself up to that channel, it's going to end up in a far worse situation than you're already in. You're going to get pulled closer to his territory.
Bad news bears, as they say.
Yes.
Okay.
If you were to do so.
Okay. Then, in that case, let me make a general either perception check for other routes or investigation check for hidden doors, secret escapes, the big red, break in case of emergency, type
Roll
shit.
for secrets. You may roll perception or investigation. I'll allow both.
I'll do investigation. That's a way better roll.
All right.
Natural 7 for an 11.
This guy, when he came down here, cleaving undead left or right, you heard screams from them. Some of them in horror, even. You don't know why that is, necessarily, but all of their flesh has been cleaved. There's bodies that have been bisected both the short way, the width way, and the length way. You do eventually, as you travel down this hall, come across what seems to be another cone of cold that has happened earlier. That has frozen a number of other undead, some of them winged. None of them seemingly appropriate for his current meal. But it's around this time where you do see the drag marks of ice going down a hall to your right. But there is also a hall off to your left that seems rather untouched. The drawings alongside the wall seem to depict some type of chariot arena games of such. You might possibly be in what seems to be a decrepit Colosseum currently.
Oh, shit.
Just judging by these engravings.
I would proceed down the hall to my left, and what I would do is, as I do so, I would probably cast Protection from Evil as I proceed through this Colosseum at first level, because I'm scared.
Good move. As you proceed down this untouched hall currently, Isaiah, you are met with a window to your right, almost a canopy. Looking outside, you see the overlay of the Colosseum. It is split down the center almost, and at this point, you see a figure flying with a frozen corpse down to what seems to be a den made by this Shifo Coalition individual. A number of cooking pots, weaponry, magical items, a small goat as well. The small musings of a humble life of scavenging seems to have been made down there. But you do make note that this individual seems to be floating down below. Up above, you do see the entrance of a canyon very far above.
Then, while you're munching on that, and I'm thinking about what I'm going to do on my next turn, I would try to make another investigation check for a hidden passageway or secret room. Not even a secret room, just a room that, like, clearly no one has any interest of going in here or will not go in here. It would be highly unlikely, essentially.
Roll me an investigation check.
It's a natural 18 for a 22.
Isaiah, as you travel down the hall a little bit more, you find a number of other, like, VIP suites areas for, very high up presentation for games that once went on here. You do find what seems to be a scenic route of servants' quarters, a servants' passageway that goes up and down in this Colosseum. However, you do hear movement amongst these corridors that sounds as if it is the shuffling of undead. And you make note that you are in a sore spot currently.
Okay. Then I would try to I think I would try to go into stealth and still try to find a secret room.
Well, yeah, you have access to what would be essentially the servants' quarters. Roll me a stealth check.
It's a natural 4 for a 3.
Oh, man.
So I am not quiet.
As you make your way, so you have the choice of being on the level, going up or down. Isaiah, what do you choose to do?
I'm gonna go on the level going up.
On the level, you're going to go up.
Yeah.
Okay. You travel upwards. You make it up one floor before you slip upon a decrepit piece of rock, knocking it down the stairs. And you hear more debris being moved up above you and below you, coming in your direction at a slower pace.
I think I'm gonna try to be stealthy again and continue my way up into the servants' quarters.
You make it up 20 feet. You find another floor with another room that was not present on the previous floor. There's no handle itself. It seems to have eroded, but it is a wooden door that seems to be bannered with an unknown symbol.
Can I
As you can push it open.
can I interpret the symbol before I push it open?
Initially, you don't have any idea what it's from, but you can roll a history check.
Okay. History check roll. Here we go. Holy shit. That is a natural 20.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Isaiah, there's not a lot of talks of the history of Jabaxi before Set and Horus. You know that the campaign against Set takes center focus for the most part, and is as best made as child-friendly when it comes to the non-Magi civilian individuals, suggesting that there's no possible way that Set could ever make a move upon common life. There are talks of previous lands that once made peace with Jabaxi.
Yeah, Dan?
There's ribs up here if you're hungry.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Hey, Justin.
All right. I am ready. I'm ready. You may continue with this history check.
There were, talkings. There were murmurings of some people who would play the devil's advocate for Set. A collective, the Lethis Collective, were rumored to be former worshippers of the gods of Jabaxi. A number of them coming from Set's legions, those who managed to fight off his influence, apparently came together to create a collective of individuals that did not worship the gods. It was seen as a fairy tale and an impossibility in the world of Jabaxi. And you've heard that there was allegedly a society of those close to Set's side of the territories of Jabaxi in the actual material realm. The last place that Set would ever think to look. They had a symbol of a banner and a spear piercing it with the pyramids of Jabaxi upon the banner. That is the symbol that you see upon this banner. Ironically, this banner itself. You push open the door. Inside seems to be a very dusty servants' quarters. Number of benches, couches here and there. Whether or not you enter is up to you.
I would enter.
You enter.
Stealthily.
The rustling, yeah, the rustling behind you has not stopped. It's moving slowly, but it's getting closer to your direction. What do you do?
I'm gonna stealthily go into the servants' quarters and try to find a hiding spot.
You are easily enough able to find what seems to be a large wardrobe. A place where people used to check cloaks that servants would bring them to on these upper levels. Hiding behind it, I want you to give me... I will say give me a stealth check with advantage.
Wow, the second roll was a natural 1, so I'm going with my first roll, which was a natural 19 for an 18.
The shuffling as you push through, using your old stealth check all the way up until this point. You hear the door creak open. Inside, shuffling through, this wardrobe itself, do you close it fully?
I would definitely close it fully.
Okay. You hear short shuffling, the collision with the couch slightly moves it. Searching. Another small movement of furniture, and then shuffling outside of the servants' quarters again, as you hear the door open and then shut due to the weight.
Oh, man. If possible, I would like to try to take a short rest.
You most certainly will be able to take a short rest. Do you wish to stay inside the wardrobe?
I would probably try to take the short rest inside the wardrobe.
All right. An hour passes by, Isaiah. What's going through his head?
Oh, man. I'm blowing all of this hit die for this short rest.
You need him. You need him right now.
Confirm. Okay, so I did 10 d10 plus 1 for each d10, which would be pretty high, but I'm just going to roll and see how much HP I get. But in the mean process, I will monologue about what I'm thinking. And I am really not thinking much beyond the fact of, like, what was once a a mission of, oh my gosh, how did this detour even come about? I went into a dream, into this temple, and then I went into a doll. I met the OG goddess, who took me to my family, upon which the OG goddess had her psychopath son rip me through a dream tear closer into his territory, upon which I got robbed of a new cool weapon, in which I survive, kill one of the guys, convince the other one to turn on his former god, and in doing so meet a guy that is somehow affiliated with the Shifo Coalition, and I'm on my last life, as I'm like I think I'm thinking, like, this was not the plan, and I'm lost. It's like I'm actually, I think I am in not a self-reflective state. I'm actually in more of a fight or flight state, because I don't know where I am. I don't know how to get back where I need to go. I don't know who the hell the mutt is that's Shifo Coalition. I know I can't fight the Horde of Undead. I know I can't beat Big Dude. And I know that I can't fight no, I don't even know what I'm saying. I just know I need to get out of here. And I know that it's looking kind of grim in its own weird dreamlike state type of way. So 6 and 2, it's another 8 points. So yeah, it's really just fight or flight. It's like, how do I navigate this? Where do I even need to go? And how does this end up happening to me? It's not even like oh, only this could happen to me. It's not like that, but it is one of those things of like, I don't even know how I even got here. In the way, like, I can map it, but it's like, if I were to tell myself, my past self, like, how this came to be, I would be like, not even, I don't even think I'd be able to fathom it, more or less even believe it. So with that, that is my last roll, so that is going to be another 9 HP, plus another 10 for all the 10 dice that I rolled, which does bring me back to full health as I do my long rest. And as I exit my long rest, I would probably just take stock of the room in which I'm in. See if anything has changed while I have short rested for the past hour.
Isaiah, as you exit the wardrobe, you see a mirror on the inner side of the door that you didn't notice earlier because there was no reflective light. You look at yourself. Isaiah, you look different. You are not... You realize you're in the material plane right now. And you are not in your body. This body that you are in, its throat was slashed. It seems to be another human being with very, very short cropped hair and a beard. A man of unknown origin. You are a corpse. And you realize that Set, when he pulled you, he had to bind you. And that's why it was so sudden. You also realize, like you said, it was so sudden, things happened so quickly, and you wouldn't have believed this in the past, that such a thing could even happen to an individual. It was discombobulating. You know that Set, he has a hold over his worshippers, whether they know it or not. And some of them at this point, you know, do not have any love for him. The one that escaped, you know he'll return. And you most certainly cannot stay here, but you know that they fear the undead, and they fear that mutt down there, down at the base. But you do have to leave. That is without a doubt.
Ray smells like a fart. A very dry, dusty one. Alright! Okay, so I'm up from a short rest, and I am not my own body, and I am someone else, and I got my health back, and I'm healthy, but I don't even really have that many spell slots. What do? I'm at the upper floor. I think what I would do now is I would exit the room, and I would probably try to stealthily see if I can go up to higher floors in this Colosseum, if that's possible.
Roll me a stealth check.
Stealth check. First roll back from break. It's a natural 10 for a 9.
My lord. Isaiah, this new body, you are so unused to it. You're barefoot. You feel everything at this point in time. Inside of your spiritual self, not necessarily upon this body. There's a little bit of crossed wires, things not quite working quite what you would expect. So you're not moving as good as you wish.
Would you say this is the spiritual equivalent to high ping?
This is high ping, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Then, in that case, can I actually go back into the servants' quarters and I want to double check if there was anything of loot or consequence?
You most certainly may roll me an investigation check.
Alright, I'm investigating. That is a natural 17 for a 21.
21. I would say, Isaiah, looking around these chests, overturned couches and such, you are able to find an old Lethus breastplate.
I would try to strap it over this corpse's body.
You take your time. It takes a few minutes, but you may now equip a breastplate upon you.
Okay, and just to clarify, would it be half plate? Or
It would
full
be a
plate?
breastplate.
Okay, I'm just gonna
That is a
search.
form of armor.
Breastplate. Manage inventory. Add item. Breastplate. Boob plate. Never mind.
Yes, quite.
Okay, inventory. Okay, go to inventory. There you are. Equipping. Ooh, 14 AC. Who is he? I don't know. It's a dead body. I'm possessing it. Anyways. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
With this new armor, I am going to exit the room and I guess attempt number 2 at stealthily going to the next floor.
All right. You don't get to roll again for stealth, I'm afraid to say. You already rolled.
Okay, good, because it was a worse roll.
Good. You've been saved. You're going to go up. Are you going to go up the way that you went before?
Yes, I would attempt that same way.
All right.
Because that's a route
Moving-
that I know, yeah.
Yes, moving back, backtracking ever so slightly. You didn't have to go far. Going back the way that you were, you climb up. You find a number of skeletons. They're rags, leaving nothing to identify them. Bodies have been moved about, pushed against the wall almost to clear out walking space, to make it more appropriate for people who would travel through. Who that may be is unknown to you because the only individual you've seen seems to walk through everything around him and sometimes even fly. As you climb these stairs stealthily, you come across another hall about 20 feet up. Seems to be nearing the top of the Colosseum, and you're getting very high up into what seems to be non-observer areas. This is more so towards offices, individuals of executive position that would essentially run things in the Colosseum when it was active. But the higher you go, the more and more dilapidated it's becoming. Things are very decrepit up here, and things will be a little more tricky at certain times, especially in stealth checks. Luckily enough, you're equipped for damage now, and you do see, looking down the hall, a number of shambling corpses that seem to be just simply moving towards the direction of any type of, well, noise or any type of factor in the air. They don't actually see you initially, but these individuals seem to be more fresh. One of them is still holding on to what seems to be a broken hand axe. Another one is hanging on to the remains of a spear.
Interesting.
They are about 50 feet or so down the hall towards what seems to be an executive's office for this Colosseum.
How low lit is this room? Or
It is
hallway?
pitch black in here. There's no arcane lighting from the walls that were down below.
Then I'm gonna try to enter stealth and sneak past them.
Roll me stealth.
Fuck. A natural 6 for a 5.
Oh my god. You just can't catch a break. As you push by, your weight is not easily distributed amongst this floor. Some of the ground crumbles underneath you, and you catch the attention of one zombie nearby. It looks at you, and it lets off a nasty howl the moment it makes eye contact with you. And you hear movement behind you, down the hall, even further from the point where you came, and the zombie behind him begins shambling in your direction. I would like you to roll initiative for me.
Rolling initiative. Natural 16 for a 15.
Wonderful. One zombie rolled a 2. The other one rolled a natural 18.
Thank you, buddy.
You will act second in initiative. That's all you need to know.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Zombie.
The closer zombie, he's going to shamble rather quickly towards you now that he has made contact with you, and moves a lot quicker and more athletic than you would have previously assumed for a regular zombie. This does not appear to be a simple undead. He is going to make his 2 attacks on you. That is going to be 15s on the die.
Both of those would hit.
He is going to do with 1 attack 3 slashing damage on you with his broken axe, split down the middle. And that's going to be 8 slashing damage with the second attack. It is your go, my friend. He has no bonus action.
Can you give me the total of that damage? Sorry.
I believe... Where's my other d6? We're going to say 9 slashing damage.
Okay.
I don't actually know where the other d6 went, so that's what I'm going to say.
Then, in that case, I'm going to use my... last second level spell slot to cast a spell at first level. And I would bonus action cast Sanctuary on myself.
Oh boy. Here we go.
And I'm going to take the disengage action as I run towards the office at the end of the hallway.
Alright, bonus action Sanctuary, and zombies have very poor wisdom in general. So you take the disengage action, and you're going towards the office,
Yep.
past the other zombie.
Yep.
There is a wide enough berth for you to avoid a opportunity attack, but I suppose you took disengage, so it doesn't necessarily matter. He is going to... You will be almost there, but you still have another turn until you'll actually be able to reach the office. You will have to expend 10 more feet of your movement.
Sounds like a plan, Stan. I will end my turn.
The undead is going to have to make a wisdom save, and I believe you said 15 was your DC?
Yep.
They have a -2 to wisdom.
God bless. Roll well. Roll well.
He rolled a natural 20 for an 18.
For the
So he can make an attack.
Yeah, he can. He
But-
can make an attack.
He can make an attack, but Sanctuary is still up, correct?
Yeah.
It doesn't break if he hits you? Unless you drop concentration, obviously, but...
No, it stays up. It just means you can hit.
Okay. So he's gonna take... Is it for each attack, I assume?
It's per attack, yep.
Okay, so he's gonna make his attack here. It's a 16 on the die. He has a spear. That's going to be 7 points of piercing damage. Second wisdom save. He cannot make a second attack.
Yeah,
The webs of Neath inflict upon him and hold his spear to the ground.
Good.
You are within his range. It is going to be another individual's turn, but they don't matter right now because they're not on the field. It is back to the first zombie with the hand axe. Whatever remains of their armor does not give you the idea of whatever association they had, but they seem to be possibly adventurers that have met their end here. He's going to make his wisdom saves. Well, save. He does not pass. He does not pass. It is your turn, Isaiah.
I spend
Sanctuary
the 10
pays
feet.
off.
I spend the 10 feet and I go. Wait, what'd you just say?
The Sanctuary has paid off.
Yeah, it did. Getting some mileage out of it. I'm going to spend the 10 feet to get to the door. I'm going to try to open it.
You get to the door. It is relatively barricaded from the other side, but as you push your body against it, initially, you do feel some give. I need you to give me an athletics check.
I will give an athletics check. That is a natural 15 for a 17.
All right. You push it open just enough to move the furniture out of the way and rubble out of the way to slip your body in.
I will shut it behind me, and if action allowed, I would try to re-barricade it.
I will say that you used only 10 feet of your movement to get to the door, and you pushed it open. I will definitely say that you can place enough rubble on there. This is stone that you are able to place in front of this door, minus the furniture that is also there. You can absolutely cover this door again and reinforce it to a decent degree.
Okay. I will try that, and then I suppose I'll end my turn.
You end your turn. You do hear the zombies inside or outside shoving their weight and trying to do their best to get through this wooden door. You have a feeling, judging by their weaponry, that it's not the first time this has happened. As you see the axe, or you hear the axe, hit the door, but this door is very thick. It's held up from their strikes before, and you feel like you have a decent amount of time to the point where they might forget about you after a time. Their retention period for information is probably pretty low, and if they don't, they probably won't get through for a decent amount of time, maybe half an hour or so.
In that case, I will try to look around. I will do a perception check of the room or an investigation to see what is in the room.
Inside, you see a huge overlay of the arena up here. It's a gigantic canopy. Obviously, any cloth is well deteriorated, but looking inside of the office itself towards the back wall, there's one thing that strikes out that cannot be ignored, and it is a hanging skeleton. Long, decrepit. That seems to be an individual that has met its end by its own hand.
Is the skeleton identifiable?
Not really. There are some remainings of cloth. Seems to be formerly fine silks. So they have a high standing, but there is no flesh remaining on this beast. The insects have seen fit to remove that. I will say that there is jewelry upon them, and maybe a stylish dagger as well. But the chair has been kicked out from underneath it as a rope hangs from the rafters.
Can I make an Arcana check to see if there's anything generally magical or sus about the jewelry, dagger, or general room?
Looking at the bracelets themselves, depending on your Arcana check, give me an Arcana check.
12 total.
You can tell that these are some type of house emblem. It seems to be a smiling fox with coins for eyes, one being gold and the other one being silver. This individual themselves, hard to identify, possibly, given its frame, you would guess maybe a dwarven woman. It's still difficult to tell. You want to assume that this bracelet that's initially standout with a golden color gem, is a sending stone. Where that sending stone could be at this point, you couldn't possibly imagine.
Is there a desk in here?
There absolutely is a very wide, ornate desk that is about 10 feet behind this hanging corpse, with tapestries hanging about with the same lithos symbol you see before you. There's another one that catches your eye.
What catches
You
my
see the
eye,
sh-
Ray?
You see the Shifo Coalition on one of these banners.
For the love of God. Everywhere I go, I see his face. And it's Shifo Bayless. No, I'm kidding. Well, as one does when they enter an executive's office and the executive happens to be dead, I'm going to go snooping through the desk.
That makes sense.
Here's my investigation roll.
No other course of action.
You're not going to like this, Ray. It is a natural 20 for a 24.
Oh my god. You...
Give me the fucking desk.
This is what happens. You pull upon the front drawer of the desk, and as you do so, you pull the desk drawer free, and the desk itself crumples in entirety due to just wear and tear, displaying all of its treasures before you. Almost in a cartoonish fashion, the only thing that is held up is the desk that was the drawer that was underneath. So you're hanging onto a handle, essentially.
This is so...
Underneath.
I'm just going to cut you off to just point out, for the listening audience out there, when it comes to saving my life, okay? Shit rolls, okay? Stealth checks, whatever. I got disarmed by a random jackal, okay? So stuff that really counted, bad. Then anything just vaguely pertaining to lore or information, nat 20. And I'm getting sick of it, honestly.
You've been rolling hot today. You've been rolling hot.
But yes, there's treasures in this desk.
There are treasures. There are 3 potions you initially see. One is a potion of greater healing that immediately stands out as being very blatantly obvious. That is a technology that has not changed even a little bit over the years. And, you know, it's been here for a couple hundred years. It's probably still good.
Yeah. Yep.
You get another one. It is a potion of heroism.
Potion of heroism. Okay. I gotta write.
There's
this
also
down.
a golden potion towards the bottom that you identify immediately. It has a Greek-esque sandal with a wing upon the heel. It is a potion of flight.
I'm writing this down. Heroism. And
That's what you get from the mini fridge of this desk.
Nice. Is there any almanacs, ledgers?
There are
notebooks
plenty. Oh yes,
that
plenty
ID
of
this man.
plenty of arcane tomes.
Oh yeah.
A lot of them being oriented towards charming magics. A lot of ledgers initiating individuals, gladiators that have come in and out. Some of them not necessarily through legal means, that had been kept under wraps. But you assume that these documents were actually hidden well in the desk, which no longer matters at this point in time, and well sealed. Some of them are hard to read, and some of them are in languages that you can't necessarily understand, but one of them stands out. Seems to be an initial warning. The date is erased, but it says, "The Magi have found us. They will be on their way soon. We can't get everything out fast enough. And we're never going back to him for help. Please just set them free. And do what you will to survive this challenge coming before you. I wish you luck." It is not signed, and it was not replied to. You have a feeling that this was the final piece of correspondence this individual received before doing what they felt was needed to be done. There is another form of correspondence speaking upon a coalition amongst their nicely knitted allegiance that has decided to leave Jabaxi. The symbol is very clear to you that it is the Shifo Coalition. This one is dated about 800 years ago.
So, if I were to make a general intelligence check, could I surmise that the Shifo Coalition as an organization is a sect that basically originated from a group of individuals that were proponents slash allies to Set, and for one reason or another disbanded across the ocean to either A, get away from him, or B, the Magi of Jabaxi, or C, a combination of both, and continue this group elsewhere? Is that can I surmise that, or is that what they call batshit crazy?
There is correspondence and a little bit of speaking upon, the armies of this alliance that was made. The initial idea was, the rumor is that these individuals turned their backs on the gods and sought allegiances from those who have been wronged by the gods in general. A lot of them used to be former members of Set's sect, and whether or not he never had a finger in this association or not, it seems like a lot of them generally oppose the gods in general, and there are seemingly allegiances, and you're reading things upon other highly trained individuals. It seems like amongst the individuals that were in the Shifo at the time, you see a translation of Old Jabaxi. Shifo ironically means, in this modern day, being ironic, it means shit in Old Jabaxi. It was the shit coalition, where the weakest soldiers were essentially placed. And that their loss was not felt upon their dismissal. They left before whatever this Magi force was that came here, a decent amount of time before that. And you think back, a little bit of strange behavior when you fought Chiefo Bayless in your duel with Tangith, he did have a locket that had a symbol of Kepri upon it.
Oh shit.
Now, mind you, Bayless is nowhere near associated with this original sect. He looked to be like a man possibly in his 30s or 40s. You couldn't necessarily tell through his helmet. But
he's what we call a fan.
He's absolutely a fan, and he's a spiritual successor of these individuals, but he seems to have a worship of Kepri itself, which seems to be against this initial Lethus allegiance. A number of other correspondences suggest that their wealth was taken from Jabbaxi itself whenever they could get it through raids. Losses of life were had, but avoided at all costs if possible to avoid detection. But it seemed that eventually the Medjai of Jabbaxi did catch word of this sect of people. And you can't necessarily say that this was their capital, but it seemed to be a very decent amount of their wealth as they hid and appropriated this Colosseum and used it for, well, entertainment and training grounds very close to Set's actual base. Now, you'd be a damn fool if you'd think Set didn't know about this place.
So,
how much pull he had, you don't know.
Is there a map that shows where I am relative to everything else in the country?
I would say with a Nat 20, you can absolutely find a map. It's old, but the continent hasn't changed, so it's very easy to discern that you are very, very far west and to the north.
Oh, man.
A little bit past the midway point.
This is like that part of Red Dead Redemption 2 where you find out there's a whole other map once you complete the map. And you're like, oh shit, it gets even further west than west.
Damn.
That's a deep cut. So with this information, how can I connect this to this mutt that has a den down below? Is this basically... Yeah, if the Shifo Coalition moved over, is this like the last remaining member? Is this, if Shifo Bayless is a worshipper of Kefri, is this also a follower of Kefri, this other thing that I saw? Or what could it potentially be?
Looking over off of your balcony, you see him down there. He's cooking the half-elf that you had redeemed. And he seems to be minding his business. On occasion, an undead will wander its way over in his direction, and he cleaves it down with very little problem and effort altogether. Seems to be humming to himself. Down there, you see no banners that are being used. It's very difficult to discern what his purpose here is, other than just living some type of hermit life. He doesn't seem to have much worry going on right now, but you get the air, like the idea that there's an air of suspicion about himself as he will occasionally look around if there's a little bit too much of a change in terms of rubble falling about, especially looking up at the valley. On occasion, you have the feeling that he might clock you, just catching a glimpse at him, but he doesn't pay you any mind. So it's very difficult to understand what the connection might be, other than going down there to ask him yourself. But He can't give a fuck about you at this point in time. He's busy. He's got some grub to grab.
Is there a place in this room to potentially hide? It's an executive's office. I'm assuming there's got to be secret shit also. in this room.
Absolutely. There are absolutely a number of doors. There are 2 servants' doors that go up and down from this point in time. You have a feeling that if you go up, you're going to be at the top of the Colosseum at this point. There is also a back room, which seems to be like a form of safe house that was just not used. And there's, wardrobe, there's a few things here and there. I will say that inside, Isaiah, if you want, you are able to find a shield as well.
Yeah, I would go into the safe house. I'd grab a shield and I would barricade myself into the safe house somehow, some way, with what is in the safe house, and then
There's a barrel or 2 here and there that seems to be filled with liquid that is probably well aged beyond its means.
yeah, and with myself being in this room, I will also turn myself into a hermit and try to take a long rest.
All right. You will take your long rest, Isaiah.
That's not technically Isaiah, but is technically Isaiah.
In spirit.
In spirit. I will take the long rest. I will exit the safe house. I will see if he's still there.
While you take your long rest, Isaiah, you go into your form of trance. And you feel a release of weight upon yourself. And you hear a noise, a body, clumps, exactly where you are, and you find yourself back within the Duat. Still dressed in the armor that you have taken upon yourself, you have entered into the spirit realm once again.
So I transposed everything that I acquired in the terrestrial realm back into the Duat.
You have.
So I have the shield as well.
You have the shield as well, yes. In spirit form.
Oh shit. That's badass. And then I still have the potions on me then.
You will.
Oh shit, that's badass. Where am I?
You are still inside of the safe room at this point in time. You are about halfway through your, essentially, you do 4 hours of, a trance,
Yeah.
and then you have another 4 hours of essentially downtime, or what you would call it's hard to describe. A watch is the best way to describe it. So you still have 4 hours to rest, but you're inside of the safe room in the spirit realm itself. You feel a very strong presence on the other side of the door.
If I put my
You
ear
also
to the
feel-
door, do I hear anything?
You hear what seems to be a crackling fire.
Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Sorry, continue with what you were gonna say.
You feel a pull in many different directions, Isaiah. The gods are looking for you. All of them are. Almost. You feel Iset, you feel Horus, and you feel Set searching for you direly. Distantly, a far-reaching Fey-like grasp is searching for you as well. It feels like a maze. And you feel the Kopesh. Neith's presence is very dim. It's almost non-existent. Again.
I will open the door of my little hidey hole.
You open the door. The desk has been completely shattered inside of the spirit realm. You look around and it seems like a war has happened. It has just torn this place apart. The walls are decrepit in the spirit realm. The canopy's barely hanging on. Things are vastly different here. It looks as if a battle has been waged here for years with no victor. Or at least not the land being a victor. And there's a fire, a spiritual fire, being burnt with a small chair being occupied by an impossibly large furry figure.
No fucking way. Do I recognize this big furry creature?
The ear twitches as a side profile is met. You see a bear-like face.
We meet at last.
Oh, man. My fucking heart. Oh.
He's about 10 feet tall and overtly handsome and muscular in a way that should be impossible for what was a bear-like rug. You see Mowgli.
Oh.
But he's perfect.
Isaiah just gets a huge grin, cause I don't even need to say cause everyone knows fucking why. This is the closest thing that I've had to a friend post death that I've encountered, and he only spoke to me in small, vague, kind of despondent responses, but they were to me, and he was my buddy, and I go up to him and I give him my own bear hug.
He accepts you and picks you up with his own.
Oh, my heart.
His joy cannot be greater than it ever has before, and Mowgli says to you,
I am so proud of you, Isaiah.
on the path
Of reclamation.
Oh.
I think.
He lets you down and holds your shoulders. You notice that Mowgli is somewhat dressed for battle. He's got a little bit of some bear armor going on here. He's standing on his two legs, but he's still shaped like a standard bear, just more muscular. He seems to have a mace at his side, a bow over his shoulder, and a shield at his hip.
This motherfucker's strapped.
He's ready. He's ready to go. He looks at you, puts his hands on his hips like Superman, and he says,
I'm so happy that you were not struck down before I could meet you. My ally. Truly, my first ally, I believe. Practically my father.
"Oh,
Oh, Mowgli, how did you get here, friend? How and I gave you to Spud. Where's Spud? How did you get this form? What has happened?
He looks, and he has a bit of a sad look upon his face.
Of Spud, a dark fate has fallen. A darkness walks within him. And after a time, Spud returned to his family, and they dare not speak of what happened upon that airship. I still exist in the material realm, Isaiah. But Maze, the source of my life, had saw fit to chuck me over the ocean in his own strange spiritual way, and I was caught by a bird woman. She gave me a good kick before forming me into the position I am now. She said Isaiah will need allies to bring back the Weaver, whoever that is. But all I know is I need to help you, and that is the one thing I want to do. So, Isaiah, what are we going to do? Isaiah, you are also have taken a long rest, so you get half your hit dice back, and you are back up on all full spell slots at this point in time.
Yeah, yeah. This is where I'm conflicted as a player because I want to say something like really fucking cool, but considering where we are circumstantially to the story, the really cool thing to say is also very ignorant and, dare I say, irresponsible. But I think what I would say is, and we're in the spirit realm, right? Yeah.
Yes, you are in the Duat.
Give me a second to think.
I will tell you this.
Oh, go ahead.
Actually, Mowgli exists in the spirit realm. As long as he has full HP, he exists permanently. But to bring him into the material realm, you will have to use Summon Celestial. He will be your guide. He will act under those stats as well, which is a spell you can expend with the Kopesh itself.
I think, yeah. That helps me a lot because I was going to do something way fucking crazier than that. I will look to Mowgli and I will say, we need to find a way back to the material realm and to get back to Jabaxi. This is really my current mission right now, and I've been somewhat detoured from that, from reasons mostly my own, but some things kind of out of my control. But we need to figure out how to get out of this spirit realm into the physical terrestrial realm. And I will begin walking up the stairs to the top of the Colosseum.
Okay. You exit the safe house and you go through the servants' corridor to climb. Mowgli follows suit and he begins to have some talks with you. He says,
Isaiah, I have gained the guidance of the gods, and I have been filled in on some things and situations. I do know that the easiest way to enter in to the material realm is to find a conduit, a body, preferably living. A dead one could be used, but it is far more difficult to bind one's essence to that.
he looks at you and he says, "Have you lost weight?"
I would look at Mowgli kind of like in shock, and just say like, not in shock. It's not in shock. I would be slightly put off guard by the question because it's so so random. But I would ask, Mowgli, when was the last time you actually got a really 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 good look at me, considering you've always been on top of my head?
One time, You woke up, and you were in my field of view for exactly 2 seconds.
And from that point of view, you thought, oh, Isaiah is thicker than I thought.
Every time you stepped upon me, it felt like Romy's Hill was standing upon me.
Oh, here we go.
Yep. Yeah. He does.
Oh.
You know, he doesn't hold back. He's like, but not to associate that with calling you fat. I'm just saying you were rather dense. Maybe it was your gear that you were wearing, but I'm saying you give Tangith a run for his money.
Mowgli, just consider that a compliment to yourself, because only you could burden the weight of Romy's Hill. As you can clearly see, the beneath Romy's Hill was a collapsing shit show, and you know, be thankful that you could hold me up. So, thank you for being a strong companion. I didn't know the rug struggled with the weight of one person walking on it, so I am sorry.
You exit out, and you find yourself at the top of the Colosseum. The valley itself is fully exposed to you. You can also see that there's an even further cliff down the other side of the Colosseum that's not towards the center. And this Colosseum rises up maybe about 300 feet, is teetering a little ominously, but it's held up so far. Whatever has caused this valley to form does not seem to have been here originally when this place was forged. This seems to have been possibly a great act of magic that has cleaved the land incredibly. It does make you feel that only a god could have done this.
Does what direction does the valley go towards? Cardinally.
North and south.
Okay. And I can assume that Pharos, the capital of Jabaxi, is southeast from here?
Yes, you are correct.
Okay. Using my map, what would seem the most logical or appropriate route to take to get back?
Well, first thing you need to do is to climb out of this valley, which will
this
be
Colosseum
very...
is in a valley.
It's in a valley, yes.
Okay,
It is down a layer. It seemed to have been built here in secret, with the initial one being naturally occurring, but the one down below is not natural at all. The ground has been cracked in a way that makes no sense. You would have to get to the wall of the valley, which you can climb. You have spider climb at this point in time, so it is fully possible for you to, while attuned to the Kopesh, if you could make it to the wall, actually access climbing the wall. That in itself will be another great journey and would probably take you well over a day to actually accomplish.
To climb the wall?
To climb the wall. You are that deep.
How... Could I assess accurately how tall the valley is?
Oh, man. It was easier in the material plane when the sun was shining through the way it was. Right now, the sun isn't shining down it, but it's practically a mountain. You are, in terms of distance from any wall nearby, there seems to be some structures here and there, and a small river that has flowed down here as well. The closest wall to you is about maybe... Man. I'm gonna say probably 3,000 feet away.
I would look towards Mowgli, and I would say, Mowgli, pardon me if this is an inappropriate question, but is there any possibility that at present you could turn yourself into a rug?
Oh. He lays on the ground. And he makes sounds of strong effort, like... He exhales. Am I a rug, Isaiah?
Can I do an investigation check or a perception check to see if Mowgli, the 10-foot warrior, is a rug?
You know, just don't roll in that one.
All right.
No.
A natural 2.
Okay. You know, you stand on him, and for a second, you're in a very familiar place, and then you're just disappointed because you realize it was nostalgia.
Oh, man.
You feel things now, so you're a lot more emotional, and even though you were in a non-emotional state mostly, it was illusory, it feels real now. For a second, you're back in Romy's Hill, you're standing on him for the first time, and no, he just breathed. Yeah, no, he's over 1,000 pounds, and he's standing. If you were actually in the material realm right now, and you were on this thing with this Mowgli guy, he'd be crashing through this Colosseum like nothing, literally like nothing. Mowgli, however, does, for a split second in time, begin to fly, as he is a celestial spirit, and he has a flight of 40 feet. And he is plenty strong enough. He's plenty strong enough to actually carry you as a makeshift aircraft.
Not even. Don't even. I'm going to make this way cooler. If I see him starting to fly and float, I'm going to drink my potion of flying.
Okay.
And I'm going to, I'm going to kind of like springboard, kind of like dive, as if the top of the Colosseum is my dive board. I'm going to have my Into the Spider-Verse moment where I jump off the top of the Colosseum straight up to the top of the valley as like this little launch point. And me and Mowgli, we would try to... he is like my... If I'm like the shitty, undead, learning how to have emotions Superman, he is like my barely intelligent, barely at times empathetic, completely not self-aware but also funny and charming 10-foot tall Crypto as we fly up and out of this valley.
As you launch pad yourself up there, Isaiah, your potion of flight, I believe, will last for an hour.
Yep.
You will be able to make it up if you dash every time with Mowgli. You'll make it up about like 2/3 of the way out of the valley before your potion gives up, and you'll be relying upon spider climb to make the rest of the way up. So you've cut so much of, and there's very little terrain for you to deal with while you fly, so you don't have to worry about that.
And I'm not trying to challenge you, so don't take this as a challenge. But I did do the math on what 30 feet of flight is.
Give me the math.
And if you do 30 feet for
for
6 seconds, I only did 30 feet. I didn't even do the dash.
Oh.
So 30 feet for 6 seconds, you get 10 rounds in a minute. So 10 rounds of 30 feet is 300 feet. So 300 feet for 60 minutes is 18,000 feet.
Okay. Yeah.
With no dash.
I will say, yeah, if that's the case, then yeah, you're basically out of the valley at this point in time. And you make it to the surface.
Fucking badass.
Because I'm going to count that as double, because you were going to dash the whole way, I imagine.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, yeah, I'd rather like share this moment with Mowgli. Just feeling the wind in our hair and our fur, and just, being free, being free partners. I would fly underneath him, and I would rest my head underneath his chin and just pretend he's a rug even though he's not a rug. And
Perfect.
and it'll feel like old times, but it's not, It's a new journey. And yeah, I get out the valley and I would start going in the direction of Pharos. And I think most importantly is I would try to fly above the dunes until the actual potion of flight wears off, because the dunes can be treacherous at times, and also, navigating up them is exerting. So I would try to milk this whole hour for all it's worth with all the dashes.
Okay.
To go over the dunes and avoid potential residents of the dunes and any, sand dunes, sand traps, whatever the case may be.
As you fly over these dunes with your remaining time upon your potion, Isaiah, you notice the sun. It is rising, and you make an observation of Mowgli going behind you, staring off to the north while he flies, almost longingly a little bit. And he stops staring in that direction and notices the sun. The sun is moving very quickly, and it is far closer than you imagined. You see what seems to be Ra. And behind him is, his brother, Apep, the god of darkness, in his large serpent form. And they are battling one another. If you keep moving, you will be intercepting their path with your flight potion. If you keep going at this distance. And you see a multitude of serpents, flying creatures, striking out with darkness, fire, you name it. All for the journey of the sun. It is his never-ending battle. And previously, before his fall, Set was initially supposed to be the guardian of Ra. He was supposed to keep Apep from gaining any type of edge over him, and it seems like every night at this point in time, he does have a slight advantage over the old god himself. And we're going to leave it off there, as the uncertainty of your journey is going to be the proper cliffhanger right now. I would like to know if Isaiah plans on continuing the journey towards the path.
So, Isaiah... I You know what? I think I will. I think I will intercept it.
Okay.
Huge hang up. It was very easy for me to say no, but I think I can get something out of this situation. Potentially. Or lose my life. Also very plausible.
Possible, yes.
I think this is important. This is good stuff. So yes, I will set my course directly for the God Serpent of Darkness and the God Bird of Light and creation, fiery death.
It is a momentous moment for you to meet Ra. If only you hadn't met Neith before that, being the one individual that could possibly predate him. This would have been a telling moment in time to meet the sun god himself, the former head of Jabaxi, but now more so reserved in his retirement just towards his duties of the sun.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll see how this could not possibly go wrong whatsoever.
Oh, absolutely
Next
not.
time.
Nothing can go wrong.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
good.
So with that, we can call this session complete.
Perfect.
What I will say is that when you said, when we had the discussion with Mowgli of like, what were we gonna do? What are you gonna do now, Isaiah? And I was talking to you kind of metagaming of like what's all going on in my head right now versus what you expect versus what you want me to do versus what I want to do versus what Isaiah thinks he should want to do, etc., all those other things. The thing that popped up in my head of like the only thing that I could rationally do next, not rationally, irrationally do, but also be unexpected, but also kind of make sense in its own weird way, was I was going to go to the top of the Colosseum and I was going to, with Mowgli by my side, I was going to summon Celestial and just use Summon Celestial to summon the gods that are looking for me. And just use it as a basically, I'm placing my flag here, come find me, and we can have...
Ping me.
Yeah, I'm pinging myself. I'm located here, no ifs, ands, or buts. You can find me. I'm here. Pull up. For better or for worse. And that's what I was thinking, but then I'm like, that is so irresponsible, because there are so many gods that at the very least want to have a stern talking to, and at the very most want to spread my atoms across the green and orange swirls of endless abyssness in the Duat. So I was like, that's why I had that meta kind of thing, because I'm like, Ray, if we go with what I want to do, I don't know. It's definitely not a happy path, and I don't think the outcome is going to be one that I really want, but that's the only thing I'm coming up with right now at the moment. So, no, this worked out. I would take the, meeting with Ra and Apep than, hey Horus, hey Set, let's have a little powwow.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was running through my head at that part. But no, this was a great session. I'm glad I got to see Mowgli and be with Mowgli. I'm reunited, and it feels so good. I can play that song actually. Why not?
We can't get sued.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
Right.
But no, really good session. Man, that in hindsight, I actually don't know why I attacked that Shifo Coalition kind of dog. Because I had 29 HP, and he spent the whole time of my battle and conversation beating the shit out of other people in the other room and winning, and I decided to try to fight it. So in hindsight, it was very dumb, but it also felt very weird to have this moment of redemption. You can have another chance, be free, and then have it immediately be snuffed by a cone of cold, and then I just ignore the guy that killed the guy that I redeemed. Yeah. And so even though it was completely ignorant and stupid, and I had to roll death saves, it felt like more uncomfortable to be like, oh, so he's just dead, see ya.
No, it would have been wrong. Yeah, you just redeemed him, which, wasn't expected, but I was like, hey, that's possible. He is the redeemer after all, so, I was kind of expecting you to turn on this guy, but he didn't give a flying fuck about you. He's like, whatever.
Yeah, initially I was gonna kill him in his sleep and just, that was the initial thought. But then in my mind, I'm like, this whole campaign, predating this, obviously, these one-on-ones, I have tried to find an amicable solution to most things. And so to have this moment where I'm starting to get feelings back, and I'm like, yeah, let me just completely decapitate him. It was like, let's maybe, I'm not saying no, but like, let's see what our other options are. And another thing that I was considering, or no, not considering, but the reason why I did that was because I've always wanted to, or not always wanted, it's been a thing of mine of like, it would be a very powerful Isaiah character moment if he was able to redeem a disciple of Set, because of what that means, what that not only means to him and his journey, what that it symbolizes, on a larger, broader scale for people who do fall for the trappings of Set and feel like they had no other choice. It was like this moment is way more powerful than get a cool decapitation moment and then get your shit ass blasted by the next dude in the next room that you're clearly not ready for. So I just picked that. That's kind of why I did it, but
Yeah, the essential idea of the Set guys pulling you there is that they went to the closest place where they had a relic of Neith, where they absolutely knew there would be one, and they used it to pull your essence, which they tried to do as quietly as possible, but the mage, the leader of their little group, was casting a silence spell down the hallway in order to make sure that their noise was not being carried about. But they already knew they got made by the undead, and those undead were giving away their position. And yeah, the coalition member was like, "Oh, food."
oh yeah, I bet that Thunderous Smite would have kind of screwed up the silence spell because of that 300 feet traveled kind of deal.
Yeah, at that point in time, they could silence the hallway, but the Thunderous Smite literally shook the foundations, and it goes in a direction. So he was able to discern exactly where lively individuals were, and if he could get to them before the undead, yeah, no problem.
So you're saying if I didn't Thunderous Smite there, he probably wouldn't have made it in the room?
No, he would have made it into the room, but he wouldn't have been eager to do so. Like, he would have probably ventured in that direction eventually, but if the mage himself had joined the battle and did so, he had some other stuff up his sleeve to possibly wrestle the Kopesh from you and get the fuck out of there as soon as possible.
Yeah, that was a tricky situation because I was running low on spell slots, and I'm like, I know this dude got some shit, and losing the counterspell was a pretty big deal. So
yeah,
the fact that he bailed was really good for me, but no, that was a really good session. I like that session 1 was like, what was it? It was session 2. That's the one where we slide down the dunes with the glaive, right?
yeah, yep.
And then session 3 is like the ascension out of the valley. I don't know. It's like cool. It's just these cool like little. It's like good adventuring, spelunking, role playing moments that are really, really nice. Not that I necessarily had to role play the flight per se, because it's like you have to roll to sandboard with a glaive down a dune versus flying. It's just you're just flying. So what does it look like?
Flying.
Yeah. So that was it's been really cool having these like mental visuals of Isaiah in some form of another enjoying himself while he's being emotionally brutalized by confronting his past, and all that, and his heritage, his culture, is all that legacy. So, but no, this is some pretty good premium A grade shit. But yeah, I don't know. Any other closing thoughts, comments, and feelings about how you felt the session went today?
I would say that out of all the sessions, this might be my least favorite one. It was just a little too slow for me, and my descriptors were a little off, I would say. I definitely wasted more time than I would have wanted to, and I was glad to get through the combat as fast as we did necessarily, because I like more of the exploration and the world building and such.
Yeah.
I'm definitely tired. I'll say that much. Obviously, due to the half marathon, I was able to plan quite a bit, but the execution was a little more difficult for sure.
Okay.
Very fun, regardless. Though I can't say that I didn't enjoy myself, and I loved reuniting you with Mowgli in a way that didn't lead you to die, which is also very pleasant as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know if I have like a tier list of like, oh, this is my favorite session. This is my favorite session. This is my favorite session.
The second one was my favorite. I'll say that much. That was definitely my favorite for sure.
Yeah, second one had some shit in it. Like the ending of the second one is very powerful and very potent. Just that once we hit that last 25-minute, maybe 20-minute stretch, we just hit the ground running, and it's premium A grade. Like, get that shit in my veins. What I will say is, maybe potentially the highlight of this, what is only 3 episodes now of this one-on-one miniseries is, I'm sorry, I just think it's so weird, it's zany, but it's so powerful and beautiful in its own, like, weird messed up way. But like the journey between Isaiah and Enelok is so good, and I'm so ashamed that it was not recorded, because it feels like it feels not to the same extent, and not in like the bad sense, but in the best way possible, like a Kevin Hart, Dwayne Johnson kind of like bro comedy, where they absolutely don't like each other in the beginning, obviously, and they, one tries to hurt another, et cetera, and over time, one is clearly annoying, but actually becomes somewhat humanized and like displays an emotion that isn't just you're a dumbass douche, and it's kind of like facilitating a character growth moment for the other person. It's like it was like it wasn't buddy cop, but it was kind of like there is something here that is working and it shouldn't be working.
Perfect. Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah. So that one for the characters involved, for the growth that occurred, it was a pretty good moment that I appreciate. Obviously the sand dune I appreciate. The going down that was really cool.
Yeah.
The stepping through the mystical kind of the yeah. The end of these was that the second episode where I stepped through I had to roll for the check that got me through the little barrier to the other side with all the gods and all that. That was a really powerful moment. That little inner monologue that I did before that, I was really proud of that. Let's see. No. But this session was really good regardless. I'm glad that the combat felt like not just, oh, I take a swing, you take a swing, I take a swing. There was still some like story happening and stakes happening within it all. So that I really appreciate, because I know that can be a hard or a delicate balance to do when doing a combat scenario. But no, it was a really good time. Still am like Like I know it's very hard to know what the next step is because the stakes and the scope is so large that it's like, oh, navigating it all, it's very like, oh, and it's been a thing that's been going on through every episode, is like, what does Ray want me to do here versus what do I think I need to be doing, or what are my ideas that I have versus what are the motives, etc. So it's like putting all those together. It's been a fun little puzzle, and that's why I'm proud of like the moments of like finding Neef, because it's like I thought that was the move. It was an unexpected move that led to a really cool outcome. So yeah, no, I'm really stoked about this series and all of its twists and turns.
Yeah, man, I'm just kind of like planning things out, trying to react in the proper way based off of your actions, and you do hit me with curveballs here and there, but that's the thing you got to work on. The improv DMing is probably some of the best that you can do, and if you can get good at that, you can be good at anything. I will say that I'm trying to give you subtle hints without telling you, what you need to be doing, because I will say that you're essentially on an odyssey. Like, you are having your own odyssey at this point in time. You're being pulled in every which way direction, and you should expect it to continue.
Yeah, no, it's like I've since actually session 1, the one that wasn't recorded, shamefully, it has always been the objective of Isaiah to want to go to Pharos.
Makes sense.
That has been his goal the whole time, and there has been the tug in a particular direction that was away from Pharos that he wanted to address. There was meeting this new counterpart that was unexpected for him, that he had to deal with, and she is his responsibility in some sense because she's new to the land and she's fucking blind.
She's out there now.
Yeah.
She is.
Yep. And it's like, okay, well, what are the repercussions of that, et cetera, et cetera. So it's that, and yeah, I keep finding every reason that plays into like figuring out what is Isaiah's motives versus what is the best choice to make in this present moment, because he wants to go to Pharos, but like he can't just drop everything that he's doing in this current moment to be like, yeah, this is not my responsibility because I want to go over here and do what I want. So it's a cool little delicate act, and I appreciate that you don't obviously bonk me over the head with like, do this, because that's when we do get the cool moments that we don't expect, which is obviously the meeting of Neef. I'm trying to think of other ones that I did. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of that Enelok. I don't know how much of the Enelok conversation you actually planned, in terms of like you wanted Enelok to say this or cover this type of ground. But I think if that was, even if that was like 40%, 30% improv, like that was a really good, like unexpected moment for both of us to cover in real time. Because I don't necessarily think I had that plan from session 1. I knew that I was going to be with Enelok in some capacity because we went through the portal, but I didn't know what that conversation would look like. So the fact that happened like that was really, really cool and powerful. But yeah, no, I appreciate the subtle hints, but also not you affording me the space to make the decision that is not smart or unlikely. And I'm glad that you gave me a little bit more the end of this session, because if I don't, I feel like I would potentially regret the decision of summoning Celestial to wave the flag towards Horus and Set to pull up on me. I think that would expedite certain maybe plot points.
It would spice things up for sure.
Yeah, you want to talk about a curveball? Ray has like this whole like, he has a personal slideshow of like, I want to cover this in this session. At some point, I want to cover this in this session, and all of a sudden, I rip like, plans for session 9 or 8, and
You
just
did
rip
do
it
that
into
with
session
me.
4.
You absolutely did that with Neith. She was not supposed to show up this early, and here she is. My
Yep.
God.
Yep.
Cool. You got an artifact out of it. There you go.
Congratulations, you son of a
Yep.
bitch. But yeah, no, it's been really cool. It's been really cool. It's really fun. And I like this. And I also like this section right here in particular because this is kind of like it's behind the music. It's the bloopers. It's the behind the scenes. It's like I like the very self-reflection of what happened. It's kind of reminiscent of the other D&D sessions, but those typically happen like when we wrap up a session. When we were in Duluth, it was like, oh, we finished the session, but we have to leave now because we have work in the morning or we have bed or whatever the case may be. So we don't really do post-session deep dives. So this is really cool.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that even in your tired state, you are still on this call talking about the session.
Well, I'm a crackhead for D&D, so absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that good premium. Good premium.
It is. You gotta get it in when you can.
That's what she said. Anyways.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I have too much else to add on for this episode. So yeah, I will. I think this will be the end here. I'll be at the end here. I'm gonna end the recording.
That works for me.